Close your eyes and imagine this, although you might wish you hadn't. It's late at night, and under a flickering street lamp you spot a woman wearing a surgical mask. She steps closer and asks, "Am I pretty?" Harmless enough, until she slowly lowers that mask to reveal a ghastly slit stretching ear to ear. But here's the chilling twist. Thousands of school kids in the late 1970s claimed they saw her. Some say a policeman on patrol even encountered this so-called slit-mouthed woman. Others swear she roamed side streets in a red coat, silently watching her next victim. Is Kuchisake-Onna just another cautionary ghost story? Or a real threat lurking behind our everyday masks? Stick with me, because we're about to unravel the truth behind Japan's most haunting urban legend. Armed with disturbing eyewitness tales, eerie history, and the ultimate question, would you dare to tell her the truth? To truly understand Kuchisake-Onna, we need to visit Japan's rich tapestry of folklore. Ghost stories, or kaiden, have existed in Japanese culture for centuries, featuring vengeful spirits called onryo and yokai. But Kuchisake-Onna stands out. Why? Because she reportedly emerged in a more modern era. Yet some experts trace her origins back to the Edo-period. That's the 17th to 19th century, when samurai roamed the land. Historical records are sparse, but cultural anecdotes from the Edo-period mention samurai punishing unfaithful or vain wives by scarring their faces, an act that could certainly inspire this horrifying legend. Expert opinions from anthropologists suggest these stories served as cautionary tales about vanity and betrayal. Could those gruesome punishments have sown the seeds for the Kuchisake-Onna myth? Or did the tale bloom from purely supernatural roots? If this deep dive already has you hooked, make sure you tap that like button. It tells me you're as fascinated by the underbelly of folklore as I am, and it helps more people discover this story. Fast forward to the late 1970s. Rumors about a slit-mouthed woman prowling the streets spread like wildfire among Japanese school children. So much so that local newspapers reported on mass hysteria. Kids refused to walk home alone. Some schools issued warnings. Could a centuries-old story have resurrected itself in modern times? Or was a real attacker behind these sightings? What do you think? A living copycat or a restless spirit? Let me know your gut instinct in the comments below. And that panic wasn't just media hype. There's a rumored account from 1979 in Gifu Prefecture, where terrified schoolchildren reported a mysterious woman, wearing, of course, a surgical mask, lurking by the school gates after class. According to local whispers, she'd approach these kids with scissors in hand, mumbling the same infamous question,
"Am I pretty?"
Some say the children ran off screaming before she could do anything. Others claim she chased them, but vanished without a trace. Did the police ever catch her? No official confirmation. Yet the fear was so real, parents formed walking groups to escort their kids home. Urban legend or genuine threat? At the time, no one was taking chances. Could this frenzy have spawned from one overactive imagination? Or did Kuchisake-Onna make her presence felt in the real world? That's the unnerving question, one that still echoes in quiet school hallways to this day. So, how does Kuchisake-Onna strike fear into people's hearts? Picture this, a woman in a coat, often wearing a surgical mask. She appears to random passers-by, usually at night, and asks,
"Am I pretty?"
If you say no, the legend says she'll use scissors, or in some tales a sharp blade, to carve a matching slit into your own mouth. If you say yes, she'll unveil her gruesome smile and demand,
"Even now?"
Dare to say yes again. She slashes your face anyway, leaving you scarred for life. And it's not just curious children who claim to have encountered her. A story from a rural area near Nagasaki tells of a teenage boy cutting through a deserted alley. Out of the shadows stepped a slender woman, mask on her face, asking softly,
"Am I pretty?"
The boy swore she lowered that mask to reveal horrifying scars from ear to ear. Panicked, he tossed a small snack, some say candy, others say a bread roll, straight at her feet. Did it distract her enough for him to escape? According to his account, Yes. He bolted while she stood there, momentarily confused, or maybe just amused at his terror. Is it possible a real individual leveraged the urban legend to intimidate victims? Or did this teen cross paths with something not entirely human? Whichever answer you favor, one thing's certain. That encounter left him forever checking over his shoulder at dusk. So, is there a way out of this twisted game? Some variations say if you distract her, offering candy or yelling the word pomade, she gets confused long enough for you to flee. Wait, did we just suggest hair gel as an exorcism technique? Stranger things have happened in Japanese lore. Now, some historical records point to a samurai named Iemen who allegedly disfigured his wife out of rage or jealousy. Though historians debate whether this man truly existed, or if he's a composite figure from multiple stories. Primary research from old Japanese texts reveals punishing adulterous wives was unfortunately not unheard of. Could the woman behind these records have been the prototype for Kuchisake-Onna? Or perhaps it was an entirely different figure, an average woman who became the face of this horrific narrative over time. We also have cultural anecdotes from rural towns claiming the Slit-Mouthed Woman was a restless spirit from a broken household. Others link her to an insane asylum escapee, fueling modern gossip. Like many urban legends, it's a swirling cocktail of fact, fiction, and pure imagination. Curious if we'll discover a definitive truth? Share this video if you think more people need to hear about Kuchisake-Onna's twisted backstory. Let's keep this investigation rolling. Clue number 1, the mask. In Japan, wearing a surgical mask is commonplace, especially in flu season. That means Kuchisake-Onna could blend right in. Expert opinions from sociologists suggest this anonymity taps into primal fears. Anyone could be a monster if they hide behind the mundane. Terrifying, right? Clue number 2, the scissor weapon. Historically, scissor-like blades were household tools, accessible to almost anyone. And while most versions show her in ordinary attire, one local rumor from a coastal town in southern Japan centers on a woman in a striking red coat. No words, no aggression. She'd simply appear at night, standing under street lamps, silently watching anyone who passed. One resident recalls summoning the courage to approach her, thinking she might be hurt or lost. But as soon as he got close, she tilted her head, lifted part of her mask, and revealed a deep scar slicing across her cheek. No scream, no scissor blades, just a chilling stare that turned his blood to ice. Whether she vanished into the darkness or simply walked away is unclear. What's undeniable is the unease she left behind. Could this have been a flesh and blood individual with a facial disfigurement? Or was it Kuchisake-Onna, in yet another terrifying guise? The lines between reality and legend are as blurred as the faint glow of that distant street lamp. The rumor that any random person could carry concealed scissors? Another layer of real-world fear. Is this more about society's fear of the ordinary turned sinister? Or does something truly supernatural lurk beneath that mask? Because let's be honest, in a world where masks are worn daily, spotting a supernatural threat is next-level paranoia. But wait, there's more to this story. The pomade factor. Some claim the word pomade can repel Kuchisake-Onna. Yes, hair gel. We'll circle back to that soon, but keep it in mind next time you're near your local hair salon. But that only explains how the legend survives. What about where it came from? Could Kuchisake-Onna's story be a modern invention? Or does her origin stretch back through history, rooted in pain, betrayal, and punishment? Let's go back to where it all may have begun. Theory 1, the samurai origin. This posits a direct link to the Edo-period punishments of vain or unfaithful wives, turning them into restless spirits. Could it be that her ghost roams modern streets seeking revenge for the injustice she suffered centuries ago? Dark, I know, but it's Japan we're talking about, a culture steeped in legends of vengeful onryo. Theory 2, the modern copycat. Some say a real attacker in the 1970s used the legend to cover their crimes. As sightings soared, so did panic. Could this have been a twisted individual stoking fear for personal gain, or possibly a group looking to exploit local superstitions? The Japanese urban legend took on a life of its own, overshadowing any chance of rational explanation. Theory 3. Collective fear or mass hysteria. Remember the wave of terror that spread among school kids? Psychologists suggest that when a legend resonates deeply, especially one about a masked woman with a monstrous secret, people begin seeing her everywhere. Could this phenomenon be purely psychological, a manifestation of our primal fear of the unknown? So, which theory do you believe? Share your thoughts in the comments. Could this explain the phenomenon, or is there something more? Enjoying the dive into Japan's creepiest ghost stories? Make sure to subscribe and join our growing community of curious minds. We've got plenty more legends to unravel together. To cap it all off, there's one last story that emerges from time to time on Japanese message boards. Supposedly, a police officer on late-night patrol spotted a lone masked figure under a flickering street lamp. Concerned she might need help, he approached, only to see, as he later described, a hideously twisted smile lurking beneath that mask. Some say she simply disappeared around the next corner. Others insist he chased her until she melted into the darkness. He was so rattled that he refused future solo night patrols. Was his account recorded in an official report? Probably not. No one wants to claim they witnessed a ghost. But that lingering shock, it speaks volumes. And maybe that's where the truth lies. Urban legend or not, the impact on real people, from school kids to law enforcement, is undeniable. Could it be we're dealing with a mass manifestation of fear, or a force we still can't explain? So here we stand, on the brink of myth and reality, facing a legend that refuses to fade. Whether Kuchisake-Onna was born from the samurai era's cruel punishments, a modern-day criminal's twisted imagination, or the collective psyche of a fearful community, one fact remains. Her story has become a staple of Japanese urban legends, capturing hearts and nightmares alike. In the end, the Slit-Mouthed Woman might just be another ghost story. But then again, next time someone in a mask asks if they're pretty, would you dare say no? Craving more nightmares? Then don't miss my immersive horror experience on The Babysitter and the Clown. Click here if you dare. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next investigation.